Okay, so let's talk about choosing a university in Nigeria. It's a huge deal, right? And with so many options out there, how do you even begin to know which one is the right one for you? Well, in this explainer, we're going to cut through all that noise and look at the latest official rankings and, more importantly, what they really mean.
Think about it. Every single year, more than 2 million people sit for the JAMP exams. That's a massive number. But then comes the hard part. Which of the hundreds of universities is the right place for you? It can feel totally overwhelming, and the pressure is, for sure, a lot to handle.
So when you're facing that big choice, where do you even start? Look, the final call is always going to be yours, and it's super personal. But having some solid, objective data, well, it's kind of like having a map. It helps you see past all the fancy marketing and get a real sense of where a university truly stands, both in Nigeria and on the world stage.
So, to get some real clarity, we're going to lean on one of the most respected benchmarks in the world, the Times Higher Education World University Rankings. You'll probably hear it called THE for short. They do a super deep dive into how universities are performing, giving us a really clear picture of the academic scene right here at home. But hang on, before we just jump into the list, it's really important to ask, what does best even mean anyway? How does an organization like Times Higher Education figure out a university's quality? Let's quickly break down how they do it.
So this isn't just some random list. It's all based on 5 key areas. First up is teaching, which is pretty much what it sounds like, the quality of the learning environment. Then you've got research environment. So are they doing a lot of research, and is it well regarded? Third is research quality, and this is a big one. It's about impact. Is anyone actually citing or using the research they publish? Fourth is industry. Basically, how good is the university at turning academic ideas into real-world value? And finally, there's international outlook, which looks at how connected they are globally. It's a pretty thorough system.
Okay, now that we know how they measure it, let's get to the good stuff, the moment you've been waiting for. Here are the top 10 universities in Nigeria according to the official 2026 Times Higher Education Rankings.
And here we have it. Look at this. The University of Ibadan is back on top, sharing that #1 spot with the fantastic University of Lagos. Right behind them, we've got Bayero University, Covenant University, and Landmark University. It's a really interesting list that shows things are definitely shifting in Nigerian higher education.
But let's put that list into perspective for a second. The ranking agency looked at 51 Nigerian universities. Now, take a guess. Out of all of them, how many do you think managed to break into the top 1,000 in the entire world? As you can see, the answer is just 2. That single number tells you so much about the journey our universities are on to compete globally.
Okay, so that's quality. We know what the rankings say, but here's the million-dollar question. Does that academic excellence actually equal popularity among students? I mean, are the top-ranked schools the ones that most people are actually trying to get into?
Let's just ask it directly. You'd think the #1 ranked university would automatically have the most applicants, right? It seems logical. But, well, the actual data tells a really different and kind of surprising story.
And this right here lays it all out. On the left, you see the top 3 schools for academic quality. But on the right, that's the top 3 based on what students picked as their first choice in their JAMB applications. And get this, the #1 most popular school is Lagos State University, LASU, which isn't even in the top 10 we just saw. And UI, the #1 ranked school, is only the 6th most popular choice. It just goes to show you that for students, there's way more to the decision than just rankings.
So to really get what's going on here, we have to dig deeper than just the numbers. Let's take a closer look at what makes 2 of these top 10 schools tick by comparing 2 very different places, the historic University of Ibadan and the very modern Covenant University.
I mean, on the surface, these 2 are worlds apart. You've got UI, Nigeria's oldest public university, founded way back in 1948. And then you have Covenant, a private, faith-based university that opened its doors in 2002. Even how they let you in is different. UI has that high JAM cutoff, while Covenant has its own separate screening test on top of JAM.
The University of Ibadan is, well, it's the classic Nigerian public university experience. It's a true pillar of education, known for its serious research culture. Getting in is tough, no doubt. They use a formula that's not just about your grades, it also considers where you're from to make sure they have students from all over the country. It's that big traditional university life.
Now let's flip the script and look at Covenant University. And honestly, this one quote from its chancellor, Dr. David Oyedepo, tells you almost everything you need to know about the vibe there.
It's an entire institution built on a foundation of discipline and character.
At Covenant, the mission is crystal clear. They want to raise a new generation of leaders. They do this with a really structured environment. We're talking mandatory chapel, strict dress codes, the whole 9 yards. Yes, the fees are significant, over ₦1 million a year. But here's the thing, their graduates have an employability rate that can be as high as 90%. And they have the single best score for industry connections in the entire country.
Okay, so we've seen the rankings, we've compared two completely different schools. Where does that leave you? How do you take all this information and actually find the place that's the best fit for you personally?
Let's break it down into 5 simple steps. First, use these rankings as a starting point, not the final word. Second, look at the quality data next to the popularity data. Third, and this is a big one, research the culture. Are you someone who would thrive in a structured place like Covenant, or do you want the flexibility of a place like UIA? Fourth, you got to be real about the costs. And finally, number 5, try to match the university's known strengths, like Covenant's amazing industry score, to what you actually want to do with your life.
And really, at the end of the day, here's what it all boils down to. A ranking like this is an amazing tool. It can tell you what's good, which schools are performing at a high level. But what it can't tell you is what's right for your personality, for your budget, and for your dreams.
So as you stand at this huge crossroads, remember this: the data is there to guide you, but the choice is yours and yours alone. The real question isn't what's the best university, it's what's the best university for me. Now go out there and write your story.